Welcome to Growing Pains, a podcast of the Sumner County Republican Freedom Caucus. I'm your host, Deanne DeWitt, and today's conversation is about leadership within the Republican Party and how that affects us here in Sumner County and across Tennessee. My guests today are Hendersonville Alderman Mark Evans and County Commissioner Shannon Burgdorf. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I put a lot of inflection in that Burgdorf.
I'm just glad you could pronounce it correctly.
I think I got it, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, this is, I've had other guests that are related. Actually had your son, Wade Evans and Liz and others. And you two are not related, but you did coordinate very well in your attire. So thank you. Make sure where people aren't, it just happens. See,
yes,
this is a natural connection. So we have several good things I think we can talk about today. And so thank you for joining me. You are both, I already pointed that out. Wade, of course, is on the school board. Your husband is also on the board of mayor and aldermen. So there is a lot of servant-heartedness in you and your families. And I'm sure that has an impact on how you continue to step in to these dilemmas. So let's just kind of start with one of the things that is a common denominator. You are both going to be on the ballot in August as our state executive committee man and committee woman for the Republican Party. And I definitely want to talk about that. And I think it's something that listeners are like, what's a committee? Like, why do we elect somebody called a committee? I mean, I think it is a really weird title. But
and a long title.
Mm-hmm, it's a long title.
All one word.
All one word. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. So can one of you do that kind of background education? What is the Tennessee GOP? What is a state executive committee man, committee woman?
You want to start? I mean, you start.
I'll be happy to let you
ahead.
start.
Oh, you want to let me start?
Yeah. Perfect. I'm a good Southern woman.
Well, I'll be honest. When I think for most people, we don't even know it exists because I see it as a back office, kind of back behind the scenes function, but it is an important function. And the Tennessee GOP, the Republican Party, has existed for a long time, but I think that we're at a crossroads for not just the Republican Party, but for all. The biggest thing being that voter apathy and trying to get people to be involved in the Republican Party. And I think that's the biggest part of what I want to do as state executive committee man. But I think the biggest part of what we're supposed to do as committee man and committee woman is to continue to grow the Republican Party, to find good quality talent across the board, not just having the same people run for office all the time, but trying to cultivate and find new talent. And then also fundraising and helping those people get elected. And I think that's going to be a big part of what we do in this role. And also abiding by the bylaws and the rules of the Republican Party.
Yeah, there are rules, aren't there? There's some bylaws.
Yes, many pages of rules. But I think that's a good thing because you need to have a governing document to take care of the day-to-day operation of the job when you're called upon to act and to take those difficult steps. And I agree with Mark that we have to focus on fundraising and growing the party, but also getting the word out to everybody that the GOP is a big tent, and there are lots of people that may not think they belong in the GOP because they aren't. I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. I was politically active behind the scenes, but it never occurred to me that I could just go to a local GOP meeting and join. And I would like to work on that to grow the party as well, that it isn't just for executives and people that are elected or work in government. It is for all the citizens in District 18.
I love I love learning about these new things, right? It's just, I gravitate towards it, but I love the platform that this creates to educate my fellow neighbors and Sumner County citizens about these things that we just don't know how it operates. And I think you are making really good points that this is something I definitely never thought that I would that I'd be part of the Tennessee party, but, because there's the local party.
Right.
But this Tennessee party really has a bigger, broader role. And I think you had said some things before we kind of started recording, just talking about that importance of people feeling a part and feeling like it's not a club for I think you already said that just now, but that club terminology kind of gave me that
yes,
that word
I had called our new chairman, Baron Lowe, and I had suggested to him that we go ahead and offer the free breakfast for children. And my age was 18 and under, because we raise our children to emulate the life that we want them to live. And if you go ahead and have the children coming to the meetings with their family and they get to be involved with their local government, how wonderful to get to meet your state rep and just find out they're just normal people like we are.
Right.
It makes the bridge between the citizen and the government more approachable. And I think that's something that I would like to see, is that the children and the families can come and do this together and grow together just like you would at church.
Yeah.
I think it's important also to get people involved, let them be involved before there's a crisis. I think a lot of times people get involved in politics or in the decision-making part of it because something has happened. It's maybe not catastrophic, but there's a crisis there. And you want to bring people along so they can be a part of the decisions as you go along and not just reacting.
Right.
Not just angry citizens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and anger definitely is one of the factors that, kind of triggers involvement.
Sure.
But, and there has been a fair amount of tension in Sumner County around core conservative values and how do those apply in this challenging environment of growth. I think every time I do one of these interviews, I kind of realize how logical our title is. I mean, Growing Pains, it is such there are so many challenges of this thriving environment. And it definitely, because of this growth and the intensity of these wonderful things that we have that attract so many people, it then takes our conservative values and it does put us in tension with how we apply those. So when you think about what we've just talked about with the Tennessee GOP and our local party, what do you think are some of the core priorities for the party moving forward?
I think the first priority is unity within the party.
Yeah.
We do have people coming to our state and Middle Tennessee from all over the United States. And a Republican in one place does not look like a Republican in another place. Yet we are all Republicans. And I think we need to find what unites us and focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. I know that I have worked to find common ground within our county commission. There are 24 Republicans. We are Republicans. At the end of the day, we are Republicans. And a house divided will not stand. Right. And I don't think that we can afford to pick at each other to the point that no one in the community who sees us as a united front against what actually could harm, which would be any other party that goes against what our party stands for.
Yeah.
And that would be a major factor for me.
I think you make a great point that it's just a commonality, finding out, well, what do we have in common? And there's a lot that we have in common, but it's how you approach it and what are going to be your, what's going to be the execution of that. And I think everybody has a different opinion, a different thought about how you do that. But for me, and this isn't anything, it's in work and everything in life, is just being respectful of differing opinions and, and trying to get to the table and finding out, okay, well, how can we make this work? Because in the end, we're serving the people. And that's what we have to keep in mind. As long as you have a servant heart, that's what I come at it as, a servant heart, and you're serving the people, then you'll do what's right. We're going to have some different ways of getting there, but having respect for one another and the trust too, I think, is going to be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And you started to say this earlier, and you were talking about, when the community sees sort of this tension or this aggravation, a lot of fallout from that, and voter apathy probably comes really close to the front of my mind, as nobody wants to get involved, right, when they see this negativity, and
they would be afraid to run for office,
right,
afraid of the personalities that they see reflected,
afraid of what it might do to their family and the things that come out of that.
Yeah,
especially if we're going to branch into finding new people to run for office. Right. Absolutely.
Right. I really empathize because when you step in, you are bringing your family with you, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And it's a big sacrifice.
Yes, it is.
For everybody that's involved.
Behind the scenes, I've been trying to talk to people about, would they consider running for office in a lot of different ways. And probably two things that ring true of why they don't want to. One of them is because time commitment, family. I'm looking out there trying to find that next generation of people to be involved in running for office and leading our county and city. And it's just difficult for somebody who has a growing family and all the competing things of their time. But the other thing is just the negativity about running for office and, being in politics. And I really don't like saying the word politics, but that's what it is. And the negativity around that, and just people don't want to do that. They don't want to be involved in that. And I get that. So if we can do something to change the tide of and bringing people in who will work together and have respect for one another, then maybe that will foster more people to run because they see that there's not the negativity and that we can work together.
Yeah, good. Okay. I don't want to cut you off if you had something important to add, but I'm going to segue to like one of the really nitty-gritty details with the role. The SEC, by the way, is I don't think I've thrown the acronym out there, but that is the short for that very long-winded state executive committee man, committee woman.
Not Southeastern Conference. But.
Not South. I know, but I guess maybe that's one way to swindle everybody into thinking, hey, this is for me. Can I be on the SEC?
I thought about putting that on the side, SEC. And then, okay.
That's not a bad strategy, Mark. I'm with you. I'm with you. So we're talking about how do you get people involved? How do you build that next generation of public servants that are willing to step in, and the bona fide status? I mean, that's been one of the things that for those of us that are really knee deep in the local and the party, we realize that definition is troublesome. It just, who wants to be a bona fide Republican? I guess we all do. But then again, like, what does that mean? And why is it so? So anybody, do either of you want to kind of take a stab at how you think that might or should evolve if you are elected?
I'll take a stab. And I'm not really decided or settled on, for me, when I heard the word bona fide, to me, it doesn't, I get the intent of it, but to me, I don't like that, the phrasing, if you will.
Yeah.
But I get the reason why we want that. We want people that who are Republican voting Republican, but to find people to run, you've got to make sure that they're going to represent the values and the bylaws that we have for the Republican Party. But I also know that kind of puts a deterrent out there for finding good talent to run. So I don't know. I guess it's a conundrum. It's one of those things where you realize you have to have it, but I wish that maybe there's a different word than bona fide.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that could be part of it.
No, I never thought of the word, but when I was
I keep picturing the "Oh brother, where art thou?"
Yes, exactly.
Bona fide.
Right.
I can't say it right.
Mama said he's bona fide.
Okay, go on. Though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the term is.
I might have seen that movie several times. When I ran in 22, they said, "Oh, well, no problem, because I'm looking at your voting record and you're bona fide." And I was like, they were like, "You're super bona fide. You haven't missed an election in whatever the history was.
Lifetime.
I don't know." Yes. Well, and I haven't. And I also have worked the elections as a registrar and a judge, and I was second to I can't remember the title. Anyway, that ran the election when I did the last election in 2012, which was Barack Obama's last election. The Obama-Romney election was the last election that I worked. But the bona fide, the word doesn't bother me. I don't know how I feel about saying, just because you haven't voted in a Republican primary, that you shouldn't be able to run for office.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't vote in the primaries, but they may always vote in the presidential. Sure. And when I ran for office, people asked me, well, did you vote for this one, or did you vote for that one, or I will vote for you. And my belief is that your vote is private, like your report card.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that should be the only factor that we use when we decide who will get the stamp. I think it could be more. There could be more levels involved in your involvement in the community.
Yeah. Other factors.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Good comments.
For the record, I don't know why I'm just going to throw this in here right now, but I keep getting, there's a lot of folks out there that like to throw stones. And so my status has been questioned quite a bit lately.
Ours too, I'm thinking.
Yes, absolutely. I was told that I was not a Republican, and I was not a conservative, and I was not a Republican.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But I don't think you can get much more bona fide than the three of us sitting here at this table.
Right.
So wear that badge of honor, whatever it means. But Godspeed. And I do hope that you have the opportunity to serve and to put some additional thought into that and how the future of these bylaws apply.
Yeah, thank you.
Because it really does. It has a tremendous impact on our local elections. And we, again, the three of us sitting here, we are very invested in our local government, and it makes such an impact.
Sure.
And when you can't get people to be involved, to get on a ballot because of something, because they weren't paying attention and as right. involved as maybe they have been really involved for the last 2 years, but if they weren't involved for the last 4+ years, they wouldn't have been a bona fide candidate.
Right.
And so there's just a lot of considerations there. And as I said, Godspeed.
Thank you.
So both of you have served in your different capacities on the board of mayor and alderman, on the county commission during a phase of intense and rapid growth. So what have those experiences taught you about the leadership within our communities and how what you are seeing and how you believe, we need to continue to move forward during these periods of time?
Why don't you go first? Since you've been in office longer than me.
Well, I don't make as many zoning decisions as you do.
Yes. Growth does affect the cities more.
I think someone made the statement several years ago that our culture, with all of the growth, the culture of our state and our community could change. And that has always stuck with me. I've been in Tennessee all my life, from family members that have been in Tennessee on my father's side, going back 7 generations. So we are Tennesseans. And I never considered how our life was compared to the way other people saw us, because this is home. But I think we have to be able to, as our cities grow, as the county grows and multiplies, that we don't divide. That as Republicans come in from other areas, that we go ahead and fit them in and let them know that this is a place that we are welcoming of new ideas and new possibilities, because we're open to it. but also help keep our culture in the South here.
I think for me, the challenges I've had is obviously people have very passionate ideas about what they think about growth or no growth or whatever. For me, I see that if you have to grow as a human being, as a community, whatever, to have life. And I think Hendersonville, Sumner County is an exciting place to live. And I want to stay here. I want my kids to grow up here. I want my grandkids to grow up here. And I like how the city and the community thrives. So I'm not a no growth. I'm one of those people, but we have to be careful about it. We have to be mindful. And I think for those who have a different opinion, let's bring them to the table. Again, it goes back to the respect and trust and how do we respect other opinions? Maybe we disagree, and that's okay. That's how you get through life. You have to agree to disagree, and you know that there are going to be different opinions, but that's what makes the world so interesting. And I think if we just start there with the respect and trust that people have the best interest in mind for the community, and then I think that we can get there. Yes, it's been challenging. I've been on the opposite side of others where they voted against me, and that's fine. But I think in the end, they come back and they say, I respect your thoughts and how you came about that, even though they disagree. The one thing I've learned in all this, too, is stay off of social media because that can...
Absolutely. Yes.
It can be brutal.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. We would all be much better if we never had to go down those rabbit holes, or somebody drags us into it occasionally too, right? Yeah. So, yes, just stay off. Shannon, when you think about the county commission and, this... the role that the county commission has, and it is different, like you said, because zoning is a big deal in the cities, and that has such a direct and obvious implication. When I think about the effective growth, and I think about preserving what's important for the next generation, specifically around the county commission, it always, for me, goes to the schools and the importance there. Do you want to add anything just in terms of sort of your motivation to be on the commission and, how you feel that your role can impact the next generation?
Well, I was supportive of the Innovative Center. I was raised in Davidson County, and I did get to go to the first magnet school that was ever begun, Hume Fogg. And because not every child is an athlete, and not every child is a brainiac.
Yeah.
For those that were in the middle, I love the idea that they could apply for positions and win a chance, maybe win is the wrong word, but receive the opportunity to go for 9 or 12 weeks to the Innovative Center while they're in high school and dress like professionals and be treated like a professional. So it helps them matriculate into the adult society better than if they're always just with teenagers in the halls. So and not that that's how all school is, but I homeschool my children, but I have very fond memories of my education and growing up. And I wanted that for our students here in Sumner County. I like the idea that they would come from all over the county. Our county is very diverse. We have urban centers, we have suburbans, we have bedroom communities, and then we have agricultural communities. All of those children being together in one location helps them know each other it takes that broad idea of who these people are up there versus who we are down here, Hendersonville versus up on the ridge or north of the county, as some of the commissioners say in Portland, and bring them together so that they can again focus on what they have in common to achieve a goal, rather than focus on what divides them. Yes.
Real world experiences where they're working with people that are different from them.
It is. It's a tremendous opportunity. I think it's one of the most exciting things I've seen happen in K-12 in the region, really. And so I think we're really fortunate for our kids here to have those kind of opportunities, and they're just going to continue to expand, I think, with the space. So I'm really glad you brought that up. All right, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. You have an election, like I said, coming up in August. I don't need to know your strategy to win, but what do you need from voters in terms of running a successful campaign?
Well, first of all is, okay, how can you explain what you're doing in a short elevator pitch? But that's okay. I think, again, this is one of those positions where it's people don't know that it exists. And I think that's going to be the thing. And I think the way I'm going to approach it is texting and social media, trying to utilize that as much as possible, because I think that's going to reach the masses. And just trying to encourage people to get out and vote. Yeah. I think that with this election, it will be better than the last because you do have some more contested races. And that's one of the things I was thinking about too, that if there is something that I would consider successful as state committee man and committee woman, is that we have good quality candidates in every race so that it can be contested, right, so that you can have people that will get out and vote because they can't use that excuse that there was nobody else running that I wanted to vote for, and so I'm just not going to go vote. So.
Yeah, totally. Agree. Any final words, Shannon?
Well, I agree with him about the voter turnout. Our early voting in Hendersonville, because of the restrictions on the time, from the 8 o'clock to 4:30. Yeah. I think it may have cut out a lot of the men and women who travel to and from work in the evenings. But I think there's so much voter apathy. I think there is to some extent, especially when it's not a presidential election. I've had a constituent say to me, well, nothing ever changes. And I always tell them, well, it won't change if you don't go vote. Yeah. And it matters that you vote. And so what I need from the voters, I don't know that I need from the voters, but I would like for them very much to go vote and exercise their right that the men and women who are in the services have fought for us to have, to maintain that freedom to vote.
And vote for us.
And vote for you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that would be. Yes, that would be. Yes, that would be excellent. Yes.
I think that's a final word. Perfect. Well, Shannon, Mark, thank you both so much. I really appreciate your time. All right. Thanks.